Welcome to Diamond Heartfire Transmissions. My name is Guy Barrington, and I'm going to begin a series of insights and revelations and talks and sharings which are centered around key quotations or remarks or expressions from amazing texts in books that I have in my home. So the one I'd like to begin with comes from the book which is called The Gospel of St. Thomas. Here we go. Which is an amazing book which describes what he says is the actual teachings of Jesus, the actual words of Jesus Christ, and the expression of this amazing master being. So this is on page 55, and it's called number 76. So I'll just read it first, and then I'll give some reflection on what this means and feels to me. Jesus said, "The Father's kingdom is like a merchant who had a supply of merchandise and then found a pearl. That merchant was prudent. He sold the merchandise and bought the single pearl for himself. So also with you. Seek his treasure that is unfailing, that is enduring, where no moth comes to devour and no worm destroys." I particularly like this sentence. Seek his treasure that is unfailing, that is enduring. So when I read this, what it evokes inside of me is to look deep inside myself, to connect to that which is most real, which is most true, that which is undivided, that which cannot be taken away, which is not dependent on circumstances, relationships, people, experience, that which remains when everything else has fallen away. The pearl, this great treasure, lives inside of us, and deeper than living inside of us, it lives as us. We are this pearl, this creator, this being, this essence, which is enduring, which cannot be destroyed, which cannot be tainted. There's an expression, sticks and stones will break my bones, but you can never hurt me. There's a sense of I-ness here with all of us, which already is eternal, which already is unbreakable, which already is enduring and untainted. So the invitation I feel through this quotation is to discover that pearl, to discover ourselves, and not to seek the whole paraphernalia of the merchandise. This could also be understood to be the various images in the exterior world. So the merchant's full of all this stuff, all these things to buy, all these places to place our attention, all these places to give our attention, to give our focus. So we can become just tremendously distracted in the world of images. We can move into the world of things, into this diverse expression of this infinite landscape before us. And as we engage in all these various things and get entertained by them, somehow we move away from our pearl center. We move away from our primordial essence. So how is it possible to live amongst the world of things, but to remain as the pearl? For me, this is the martial art. This is the skill. This is the artistry of living. Is how can we be in the world, but not be of the world? How can we live amongst the world of images and ideas and circumstances without being lost or seduced or pulled into them in such a way that we lose center, that we lose presence? I feel it's useful to understand something of the mechanics of creation. Everything on the outside arises from that which is inside. This world has been dreamed into being, and the dreamer is the pearl, is your heart, is your essence. So that which is outside is the manifestation from the pearl. So when we witness the images and the things and the circumstances, there is a reflection inside each thing of where it has come from. It is carrying a seed of the essence from its expressed source. So in some way, everything can be a reminder and a reflector of our true essence. But it's a bit like the moon shining in the sky and 1,000 buckets full of water on the earth. And we walk out on a moonlit night and we look at the buckets and we think there are 1,000 moons. And we try and find the moon in the bucket, only to stir the water, to ruffle the waves of the bucket, and to be empty-handed. If only we could turn up or turn inward, we would see and know and feel the presence of the moon reflected in the 1,000 buckets. So therein is the subtlety of this great adventure called living. The pearl, like the moon, is reflected in 1,000 buckets, 1,000 million forms called creation. But you can't find the pearl by looking at the bucket. You have to look in, and then you see the pearl everywhere, reflected in everything. So this is what I'd like to share about this wonderful expression. I'll just read it one more time. Jesus said, "The Father's kingdom is like a merchant who had a supply of merchandise and then found a pearl. That merchant was prudent. He sold the merchandise and bought the single pearl for himself. So also with you, seek his treasure that is unfailing, that is enduring, where no moth comes to devour and no worm destroys." So many blessings and happiness on your great adventure in discovering more of the depth of who you already are.